Hello. Today, what we're going to do is we are going to make what I am calling a magic envelope. It's actually like a note or a card, gift card type of a thing, and envelope all in one. So for lack of a better term, we'll call it a magic envelope. And all you're going to need is you'll need your ruler, a pencil, because if it's going to be a note card or something, you're going to want to write a note, right? And a rectangular sheet of paper. Any size rectangle doesn't matter, but it should not be a square. You definitely want a rectangle. So I just took some old lined paper that I had and I just cut it into a rectangle that's a little bit smaller because I wanted to make sure it fit in my surface here. So here's my rectangle, my ruler, and my pencil. But before we get started, I want to make sure you can see the difference between a tall rectangle and a short rectangle. So a tall rectangle would look like a door. A short rectangle would be kind of like a hot dog bun. Okay, so tall rectangle, short rectangle. So I want it to look like a short rectangle to start with. So have it like a short rectangle. And we're going to fold that long side up to the second long side there. So it's folding our rectangle, in half. And I got a little smudge on my desktop here. Let me see if I can just wipe it off. There we go. Oh, it's right off. All right. So got that one's folded. Let me get myself my ruler and give it a good crease. And then open it back up. So now we can see that horizontal line. Now rotate it so that your rectangle, so that the horizontal line will be vertical, or you've got yourself a tall rectangle. There we go. So that horizontal line is kind of pointing towards your belly. Now, what we're going to be doing now is we're going to be folding, just kind of observe this part. Look at the bottom edge here, the very bottom. We're going to take, going from, the center where that crease is, I'm going along to the right, to that right vertex at the bottom. I'm going to take this vertex and that bottom edge, I'm going to fold it into a triangle that's going to go up along that center crease. So let me show what it looks like. So again, starting at the crease, I'm going to fold it so that the bottom edge goes along the center there. And then crease it. So again, from here. For those of you who have made paper airplanes before, you are familiar with this particular move. This is one of the first moves you do when you are making a paper airplane, to make the nose of the airplane. So now, or the cockpit, I guess, depending on whatever you want to call it. So now let's do the other side. We're going to do the same thing with the left-hand side. So now, starting from the center and all the way to the bottom left vertex, it's going to go up along the center line there, or the center crease. I think you'll like this one because, if you ever need a little gift card for someone because you made them, or maybe you cut them a flower or whatever it might be, this is a great way to make a little note for them. That, like I said, is all in one. And you'll see by the end what I'm talking about. All right, so now, done the first one. I'm going to rotate it so these two triangles are going to be facing upwards. So I'm just going to literally rotate it completely 180 degrees. Now it's going upwards, so it sort of looks like a house, but it's actually a pentagon if you count the sides up. We're going to do the same thing down at the bottom. So that bottom right corner, bottom edge is going to go along the center crease. Give that a full look, so it's exactly like what we did earlier. And also do the left side. Right? So now, if you take a look, we have a hexagon here. How do you know? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides. Rotate your hexagon so that long, tiny, skinny, short little rectangle you see in the middle there is going to be a tall rectangle. There you go. So our hexagon just rotated. Now that centerpiece is a tall rectangle, like a door. Okay, you can see it. Now, if you're looking at, and notice, just in case you notice, you're probably thinking, wait a minute, Miss Skipper, your paper isn't matching up. Well, it's as close as I could get. It wasn't perfect. Like I said, I'm not worried about it. Okay. Now, looking at your hexagon, I've got the flat side towards my belly. I'm going to take that flat side and just fold it all the way up to that center crease. It's going to fit right in that little hole there. And by doing that fold, you've made yourself a trapezoid. Make sure you give it a good crease with your ruler when you're done. And now rotate the figure another 180 degrees. So now we're going to be doing the same thing with the bottom. So that bottom side there, it's going to be folded up to the center crease. Give it a good press. Now you've got kind of a squat hexagon. That's made up of two, it looks like squares maybe on the sides, and then two trapezoids kind of in the middle. It might be might be just a parallelogram. I'm not really sure, depending on what kind of paper you used, right? So now take your short squatty hexagon and rotate it so that that crease is vertical again. Okay. Now it's a tall hexagon, tall thin hexagon. Now, if you look at one of the squares or the quadrilaterals down at the bottom, we're going to take the bottom vertex and we're going to fold it up to the right up here to the middle. So if you look, there's kind of like a little opening right here, right? So we're going to fit that right there. So watch what I do. So it just literally folds it in almost half from here to there, as far as that little shape goes. So it fits right into that little opening. And give it a good crease. Press down. Oh, we're back to our pentagon shape. A smaller pentagon. Now take your pentagon and we're going to rotate it again, 180 degrees, completely around. For those of you skateboard riders, you know what a 180 is. And we're going to do the same thing. So this piece here, this little vertex here is going to go back up to the top. And that little opening. And since I know my fold is a little crooked, it may not reach perfectly, and that's perfectly okay. It doesn't matter. It's not completely in sync. It's not going to make or break it. All right, so you can sort of see it's not perfect, but close enough. Now pick up your rectangle. Now I've got a tiny little rectangle and flip it over. So when you're looking at flipping it over, you've got a nice flat surface to write on. So this is where you're going to write your note. So whatever you want to write in this note, this is where the message goes. So I'm going to write a little message here. I think I'm going to write, I hope you're having a good day. So whatever message you might want to write, go ahead and put it in there. And I always like to sign my messages. So I'm going to sign my name. I think I'll put a little heart on there just to be fun. So there's my message. So the message again was on the flat side. So that's why you needed your pencil for that. So go ahead and write your message. I'll give you a second there. And while you're doing that, I'll flatten mine out a little bit more with my ruler. All right, we just have a few more folds. What is it? 3 total folds left to do. So now, taking a look at it, what you might want to do is rotate it so your message is upside down. So message is upside down. Now, we're going to take that bottom of the tall rectangle now, that's upside down, right? And we're going to fold it up, but we're not folding it in half. So just watch what I'm going to do. We're going to fold it up and to fold a little rectangle. And what you want to do is kind of estimate, and it doesn't have to be exact, but you kind of want this little rectangle that you fold to be about the same size as the one that you leave behind, the one that's up here. Technically, you're trying to fold the paper in thirds, but again, we're not measuring, we're just kind of eyeballing it. And if you're not quite right, it's okay. So it looks about kind of like maybe about there for me. So I'll press down, and if it's not perfect, it's not going to be a problem. Folded it down, give it a good press. Now rotate it 180 degrees. And now, same thing. So that little piece that we left over here at the bottom, you're going to fold that one up just as far as you can. Oh, see, and I didn't fold mine perfectly, but again, like I said, it doesn't really matter. There's a little bit of opening there. That doesn't. And give it a good crease. So I really don't have a rectangle here because I've got a couple little sides right here, but like not a big deal. So now you got that, give it another good crease. I don't know about yours, but mine is really wanting to lift up. Okay, look at that triangle that's in the middle. I want you to take that bottom vertex. We're going to fold it up to touch the top side. So, and you might want to write the word pull on it. So you know what? Let's wait on the pull. Let's just leave it alone for a second. Let's just leave it for now. Okay, so let's do that. Pick up the whole figure, your hands. And now I'm going to lift this tiny little rectangle here towards me for just a second. So you can look back at that first rectangle that we folded. Now, if you're looking, look at the very center where that triangle is. If you look on the sides of that triangle right here, these two sides here, you'll notice that those are actually like little pockets. You can see the little pocket thingies, right? So what we're going to do, let me close this back up. What you're going to do is you're going to take this point over here, so this vertex, and you're going to slide it into that pocket that's right behind it. And you're going to do the same with the one on the right-hand side. So this is one of the cases where lifting it in the air is a little easier. So it just slides into the pocket. You might have to massage it in a little bit. There we go. Put it down. Flatten it out with your ruler again. It's getting really thick. It's getting harder and harder to really flatten out. Okay. That looks pretty good. And now I can write the word pull on that little triangle. Yeah, if you give people these all the time, they'll pretty soon figure out that you just have to pull that old tab so you don't have to write pull. But if you've never given someone else one of these things just yet, you might want to put the word pull. So now on the front, you could put down who it's going to. I'm going to write my friendly neighbor. And voila, your envelope note card is done. So here's the front of the envelope. There's the back. And if I pull that little thing and open it up, there's my little message. Isn't that kind of a nifty little thing? I think it's a great idea. And I know that I've had some students who thought that was really cool today when we did it in class. And so if you didn't quite get it, this might be a way for you to try it on your own at home. And if you still don't get it, let me know. We can meet during office hours in the afternoon and do one together. So that is your so-called magic envelope. Back of it and the front. If we pull, we can have our note inside. Thank you for joining me.